Welcome back for the third and final video of this review. In this video, we will deal with imaginary numbers. So first of all, we're going to simplify I to the 18th power. I like when I has an even power. I really like it when it's the second power. So I'm going to change it to I squared to the 9th, because when we raise a power to a power, we multiply, and 2 times 9 is 18. I did that because I know I squared has a value of -1. So it's really -1 to the 9th power. And 1 to the 9th is 9, and -1 to the 9th, an odd power does not remove that negative. So that equals -1. And I'm going to go straight down to this one here, I to the 27th. I like when it's even, so I'm going to make it I to the 26th times I. And when we multiply, then what we do is add these exponents. So 26 plus 1 is 27. So I haven't changed the value. Now I'm going to make this one a second power like I did up here. So that's I squared to the 13th, because 2 times 13 is 26. Then we still have times I. I squared is -1, so that equals -1 to the 13th power times I. If this were an even power, it would cancel out that negative, but it's not. It's odd, so it keeps that negative power. So it's -1 times I, which is -I. Here we're going to subtract, and I'm going to do that by adding the opposite. So I'm just going to make that plus and then change the signs behind. So I'm really just multiplying this by -1. And I can combine -2 and 4 to make +2. And that's not right, because it's -2 and -4, which is -6. So I get -6 there. And then -6 plus -3 is -9, so that's -9i. -6 minus 9i, and I cannot combine those. Here I have 5 plus 6, that's 11, and -3i plus 7i is +4i. Here I'm going to multiply these. In order to multiply them, I think it's going to be easier if I just simplify this one first. So -75 is really -1 times 75. So that's -1 times, and 75 is 25 times 3 times the square root of 5. The square root of 25 is 5. The square root of -1 is I. Then I have the square root of 3 times the square root of 5. And I can multiply these. So I have 5i times the square root of 15. And there are no square numbers that go into 15, so that is my final answer. Here I can multiply 6 times -4, so that's -24. 6 times 2i, that's 12i. -3i times -4 is +12i. And -3i times +2i is -6i squared. I have like terms here, so that's -24 plus 24i minus 6, and I squared has a value of -1, so that's going to be times -1. So that's -24 plus 24i. -6 times -1 is +6. And now I can combine these like terms. -24 plus 6 is -18, then plus 24i. And last, we are going to solve an equation. First, we will subtract 196, so we're going to move that over, and it's going to become 4x squared equals -196. Let's divide by 4. So 196 divided by 4 is negative 49. Now I know right from the beginning I'm going to have two solutions because the degree is 2. So here's where my two solutions come in. I take a square root to cancel out that x, and when I take that square root, it's really plus or minus the square root of negative 49. So x equals, the square root of 49 is 7. It's plus or minus 7, and the square root of this negative, so negative 1, is I. Anytime you have a square root of a negative, you have an I that's going to come out. So the solution set is plus or minus 7i.